Hello, my guest today is Allie Evanson, the owner of I Got This Sit dog training in Elgin, Illinois. Welcome, Allie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm so excited to have you today. You came highly recommended by Dr. Sheila Newenham, and I'm eager to talk to you about the subject of beginnings. You started your dog training business just a year ago, May of 2019, right?
Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about what drew you to dog training?
At a very young age, I was definitely interested in training our family dogs, taking them to classes, teaching them tricks. I actually started training horses, and not only taking lessons for myself, but giving lessons to younger kids before I really started with dogs. But I've always just had a passion for animals, and once I got into animal rescue and saw, all those dogs with behavior needs and even cats with behavior needs, it just became apparent that, you can make a career out of it, and you can, help while also helping yourself.
How long were you in rescue before you started your business?
I was on the board of a rescue for 3 years, and then I left to do more training and get a career going instead of doing a lot of free volunteer work and not having time to open a business and also work and also do free stuff. So now I
Mhm.
just foster.
Well, that's good. So, what did you do before?
I've done a lot of different things. I went to school for fashion design and fashion merchandising and marketing, which I found to be helpful starting my own business and knowing kind of the marketing side and knowing kind of the entrepreneurship and business running side of it. I found that really helped transition me into owning my own business pretty easily. Not that I know it all, I'm still learning as I go, that's for sure. I do have, my dad helping me because he does own his own business as well. So he helps me with a lot of the business aspects that I don't know about yet. I worked for his restaurant since I was 16, probably, you know, well, definitely earlier than that, just kind of helping out here and there. Um, I worked as a server and a bartender for a few years at a country club, worked in retail. Um, yeah, lots of different things before I
Lots
kind
of
of
different
figured out
things.
what I wanted to do.
Yeah, and you jumped ahead to my next question already because I was going to ask you how those skills have benefited you in your dog training business. And you shared some of that right at the beginning with the fashion and the business and marketing elements of it. So it is interesting how skills we pick up in other places can really benefit us when we're beginning something new. So what surprised you about beginning your business?
I knew it was going to be a lot of work. Um, I think, learning better time management skills. Dude, you're got a dog trying to come under here. You're knocking the camera everywhere. Come here. Um, I think just really learning the business end of it and learning some better time management skills. And you're not being very helpful, Buzz. Come on, go.
The magic world of Zoom. All of the
Yes,
animals must appear.
absolutely. Well, thankfully the rest are upstairs. Um, I definitely am surprised as to how much work I have to put into it on the side. You don't get to just shut off at night. You don't just get to not answer emails when you wake up in the morning, and
Yeah.
you know anytime you can find to answer emails and talk to your clients, and even just my existing clients, needing help on the side quickly, answering texts and answering calls, and trying to send quick videos of how they can help their dog before our next session. And just, there's a lot more that goes into it besides just training dogs.
Yeah. What would have made beginning easier for you?
Probably have been able to see the side of the dog training business the actual business side and knowing kind of how to do things, and how to delegate and how to manage. Definitely, having employees lined up for all aspects. But again, as a startup, you just don't have the capital to pay employees. So you have to be able to do it all on your own.
Mhm.
And I didn't expect to be as successful as I am as quickly. So I guess I just wasn't as prepared as I wished I would have been, but I mean, that's kind of life.
So describe what your business looked like, say September. So you started in May, and then by September, what were you offering, and how big was your team?
In September, we were basically full speed ahead. I started day training and board and train right away. Board and train was actually already running before I opened my training center. So I had started the day training side of it once we opened. And I would say, June and July were slower. I think I was only offering day training maybe 1 day a week. And I think at that time it was just me, and I kind of had some helpers coming in who were interested in learning more about dog training. And very, very quickly, I went to 3 days a week for day training, and making sure that I had employees every day because we were at capacity every day. Um, you know, on top of the other kind of side training that I do, that is the reason that we're capped out at 3 days a week right now until I can hire employees. Unfortunately, in September, well, in August, really, all the interns that I had either went back to regular full-time jobs or went back to school. So then it again became just me training dogs and trying to run the business and doing the cleaning and trying to do in-home training, which is something that I still offer and teach classes and take care of all my dogs and take care of my board and train dogs. And it very, very quickly became more than I expected it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a glamorous life, isn't it? Just
Yeah,
owning your own
absolutely.
business. It sounds so
It
great.
sounds great, get to be your own boss, get to make your own hours, get to do, all things your way. And then you're like, wait a minute, all of that comes with being all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. But it sounds like you really rocketed from the starting line very, very fast.
Yeah.
What do you attribute, your success to?
So it's really, really helpful that I already kind of was working for a training company, and I'm still working for them, but I don't offer the same services as them. So when people are looking for board and train and day training options, there isn't much out there in the way of positive reinforcement. I'm one of the only ones definitely in our area, if not, surrounding areas. So even other trainers and vets and other companies do refer to me as well. Excuse you, you do not normally act like this. I don't know what your deal is. So just referrals and having that network to start with. I mean, it made perfect sense to offer a service that he normally just
For
like
those of
rests
you who
on the
can't
couch.
see, because you're just listening to a podcast, the dog trainer's dog is being absolutely adorable, but interested in a little attention too.
Yeah, this is actually one of my foster dogs.
Oh, yeah?
He's getting adopted on Monday. So,
Well, how awesome.
yeah, but I put his kibble all over the place so that he would eat that. But apparently he's done and looking for a little bit more.
He would really love for you to entertain him and not me right now.
Yes,
What is
absolutely.
his name?
Buzz.
Buzz.
Buzz
Awesome.
Lightyear.
Okay, so that does sound like you had a really nice setup where you, had experience and a niche that was different than the company that you were working for, so that they were able to refer to you and you could refer to them for the services that you don't provide. So it became this nice symbiotic, referral relationship, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so what do you find most satisfying about your business?
I get to work with dogs all day, every day.
That is pretty
I get to do
nice.
what I love.
Yeah, yeah. And so how are you feeling about your business overall at the beginning of this year? So at the beginning of 2020, you've 9 months in or so. How are things looking for you?
Still good. Obviously we're all adjusting to the shelter in place and, the new way of trying to live and trying to figure out how to still be successful in business. Um, you know, Thankfully in our industry, dogs are still going to have problems. And we actually see a pretty decent spike in like summer months and winter months because we are spending a lot more time inside with our dogs or just a lot more time in general with our dogs. So generally we see a pretty decent spike in business at those times because we're seeing more behavior issues. So if we're home with our dogs all the time, we're going to see a lot more behavior issues. Plus it's springtime, we've got puppies coming in. I mean, I'm receiving probably 2 to 3 young puppies a day saying, hey, we just want to get our puppies off to the right start. What do you think is the best route to go on? Even though we've had to modify some of our services and the way that we do things, people still need us to help them with their dogs. Behavior problems don't go away just because, we are stuck at home.
So tell me what you've modified in what ways?
So we aren't allowed to offer in-home training, obviously, and that's through the other company that I work for. So instead, we have to do virtual. So we all had to kind of learn how to use Zoom and set up meetings and do things that way. Figuring out how to teach our clients while not being able to show them with their own dogs. So we generally, use our own dogs in the videos and then have them show us and, modify as needed. With my personal business, I made the choice to close for day training during the month of April. I was still running board and train because it's very limited contact with people, giving them the option of doing their transfer session at a later time or doing it via Zoom, so that we didn't have to be in contact, up to their comfort level. We are back open for day training. I started with just 1 day a week just because, I wanted to see how we could manage it and make sure everybody was staying safe at the same time. And now we're extending to 2 days and probably we'll quickly re-extend to 3. And I'm hoping by June we'll open 5 days a week.
Great. Okay, so your re-beginning is well formed in your mind. Like you see the picture and you see the path and it's just coming along.
Yeah, hopefully. And we're willing to adjust. I mean, being a dog trainer and working with dogs and other animals, that's how we operate. We have to be willing to adjust our plan. No dog is the same, so no business plan is going to be the same.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. Dog trainers are creative problem solvers. That's really the job. Show up, see what's there, and
Yeah,
find a way forward.
yeah. I go in with a plan and I adjust as needed.
Always, always. So back to the theme of beginnings. What do you believe about beginnings?
I mean, they are scary sometimes, but that being said, a lot of times it gives you a chance to try all new things that you may not, if you didn't have the chance to kind of start fresh. It gives you the chance to do things the way you want to do them, and to really make sure that you're successful on your own terms, basically.
So what advice would you give to somebody who was interested but nervous about beginning something?
I mean, it's worth a shot. I had no idea where I would be a year later. I had no idea where I'd be a month later. When we first started, I was like, can I pay the rent on my building while also maintaining all of my other bills? And, can I really, make a life out of this? Can I do this? And I'm glad that I had some, really great people encouraging me and helping me through it. But, you know, I, I'm happy with where it ended up. So definitely go for it. If you want to do something, give it a try. Why are you so loud?
And Buzz agrees. He leaps the pond.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, beginnings are great. I'm about to begin a new life on Monday.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Buzz.
So Buzz is with Chi-Town Pitties. He is actually a safe humane court case dog as well. Excuse you. Apparently he's very needy when I don't want him to be, because normally he just lays on his own side of the couch and ignores me. It also is a rainy day, and he's been up with the storm since who knows what time this morning. But he is getting adopted on Monday, so hopefully he is successful in his new home, because it's going to be a lot different than my home. But I have high hopes for him because I've had him for about 2 months now. So hopefully I've laid a good foundation in training for him.
Awesome. Well, that's wonderful. If people wanted to learn more about you and your work, how could they do that?
Visiting my website is usually best, and contacting me directly from there. That way I can point you in the right direction as far as if you should go with classes, in-home training, day training, board and train, a combination of some different things, depending on what behaviors we're seeing out of your dog. I can usually give you a pretty good idea of what route to take.
Awesome. Okay. Well, this was great talking to you about beginnings, and it seems to me that Buzz would like to begin a game with you. So I think we will wrap up here, and I thank you so much for joining me on Unleashed at Work at Home. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.